Purpose of My Life, a complete, compact, holistic, and friendly summary of all 13 books runs. At its deepest level, The Purpose of My Life is a 13-book cultivation architecture devoted to one central, lifelong question. How can a human being live peacefully, wisely, ethically, lovingly, and sustainably in a complex world while protecting nervous system stability, human dignity, and long-term flourishing? The series begins with a foundational realization. The original purpose of life is peace and harmony, yet mature adulthood, scholarship, suffering, relationships, uncertainty, leadership, and responsibility require peace to become lived rather than merely hoped for. Consequently, the entire series proposes a practical life doctrine: optimize sustainable nervous system stability in order to navigate life's challenges wisely, compassionately, lawfully, and peacefully through ethical discernment and holistic game theory. Book 01 establishes the constitutional foundation of the entire architecture by asking, what is the purpose of life? It introduces peace and harmony as the highest orientation and nervous system stability as the biological foundation for ethical living. Purpose becomes lived through sustainable regulation, wisdom, dignity, and human flourishing rather than external achievement alone. Book 02 teaches how purpose becomes embodied through nervous system cultivation. Stability is reframed not as comfort or luxury, but as ethical responsibility. Sleep, movement, meditation, reflection, breathing, tennis, recovery, and daily regulation become the invisible infrastructure supporting wisdom, leadership, scholarship, and peace. Book 03 teaches peaceful perception and open-eyed awareness. The mature human learns to see reality honestly without becoming reactive, cynical, emotionally overwhelmed, or spiritually avoidant. Wisdom emerges through regulated seeing, eyes open to the world, heart anchored in peace. Book 04 becomes the book of reconstruction. It teaches how to rebuild through uncertainty, hardship, instability, and unfinished circumstances without abandoning dignity or ethical clarity. Ordinary life itself becomes the monastery of growth, where resilience emerges through repetition rather than emotional intensity. Book 05 transforms scholarship into spiritual and ethical cultivation. Education becomes contemplative practice rather than status seeking. Learning becomes a form of becoming, strengthening humility, attention, responsibility, and service through peaceful scholarship grounded in nervous system sustainability. Book 06 teaches quiet continuation amidst unfinished life. Transitional environments, buses, shelters, uncertainty, waiting, rebuilding, fatigue, ordinary days become sacred training grounds for emotional maturity. Peace is reframed as something cultivated during incompleteness rather than postponed until life becomes perfect. Book 07 turns inward to origins, memory, and belonging. It teaches compassionate reconciliation with one's emotional, cultural, and familial inheritance. Rather than escaping the past or becoming trapped by it, the mature human learns to integrate memory peacefully while continuing to grow. Book 08 develops ethical spine and discipline responsibility. Strength is redefined not as domination or aggression, but as regulated moral courage. Ethical adulthood means learning to stand for dignity, lawfulness, truth, compassion, and responsibility while remaining inwardly peaceful. Book 09 expands into contemplative civilization and reflective intelligence. Readers learn to think deeply without losing peace, humility, or humanity. History, systems, institutions, philosophy, and culture become opportunities for wiser participation in civilization through regulated thought and compassionate systems awareness. Book 10 introduces sacred silence and nervous system restoration. Rest becomes ethical responsibility. Deep sleep, nature, solitude, meditation, stillness, and enoughness become essential practices for sustaining wisdom with clarity, compassion, and long-term flourishing in a demanding world. Book 11 teaches compassionate civilization through historical complexity. Humanity, family systems, nations, trauma, suffering, law, and collective memory are approached with honesty and tenderness rather than cynicism or idealization. Readers learn to love imperfect humanity without abandoning truth or peace. Book 12 develops embodied citizenship and responsible freedom. Freedom becomes inseparable from regulation, ethics, lawfulness, consent, responsibility, and human dignity. Readers learn how to participate peacefully inside complex systems without losing themselves. Book 13, the culmination of the series, integrates everything into everyday living: movement, Buses, streets, shelters, cafes, libraries, walking, study, work, uncertainty, relationships, and ordinary life become the true monastery of human flourishing. Peace stops being a destination and becomes a way of moving through the world. Across all 13 books, a single human image quietly repeats itself. A profoundly strong body, a deeply peaceful face, and open eyes looking compassionately at the world. The strong body symbolizes resilience, discipline, nervous system stewardship, sustainable vitality, and the ability to endure without collapsing. The peaceful face symbolizes emotional maturity, compassion, regulation, humility, sincerity, and ethical steadiness. The open eyes symbolize honesty, the willingness to see reality, suffering, complexity, systems, relationships, civilization, and oneself clearly without retreating into illusion or bitterness. At the deepest integrative level, the entire series may be summarized through one living pathway: nervous system stability, peace and harmony, clear seeing, ethical responsibility, wise game theory, sustainable action, human flourishing, or even more simply, regulate deeply, see clearly, love wisely, act ethically, continue peacefully. Ultimately, the purpose of my life is not a self-help series, a spiritual system, or an academic theory alone. It is a complete cultivation architecture for learning how to become a peaceful, wise, strong, compassionate, scientifically grounded, spiritually sincere, ethically responsible, and sustainably flourishing human being. One ordinary day, one challenge, one breath, and one step at a time.